Tuesday Night Touchdown Podcast with your hosts, Reese Downing and Jacob Workman.
What's going on, guys? It is the TNT Tuesday Night Touchdown Podcast, NFL Edition, Week 13. With me, as always, is fine citizen Mr. Jacob Workman. Workman, how's it going, man?
What's going on? Unfortunate week last week on Thanksgiving for my team, but we're here to rebound. So we'll see what happens this week. Your team had quite the performance on Thanksgiving. Yeah,
Cowboys played really well on Thanksgiving. I did not perform quite as well as you did on the record for the week. We'll get in that here in just a second. Before we get started, we teased this a little bit last week. For those of you who follow both college and the NFL podcasts, we are doing a special episode this week. We're bringing in some guys that you've seen, some that you haven't, to talk the games with us. We just got finished up talking about all of the college conference championship games. So if you are a college football fan, or even if you're not, it was a great episode. So please tune in for that. But we are going to bring in a couple new faces and one that you are used to. So we'll start things off here with bringing in little trigger happy there. Workman, I'll let you drive there, buddy.
I got you.
Yeah. So first things first, we've got Mr. Ike Houston. Ike, what's going on, man?
Hello, America.
Yes, that's great. The best intro I've heard so far on this show.
That is.
Hello,
yeah.
America.
Yeah. Carter's going to have his work cut out for him there. As you can see here, Mr. Houston is rocking a Chiefs
proudly for
polo,
a week.
Proudly.
The offense and defense both actually showed up for the first time this season. It was kind of nice.
Yeah, it was a pretty good game. What are your thoughts on the NFL season so far for your Chiefs?
I don't know. It feels like the magic just hasn't been there. Like every other season with Mahomes, it feels like you can just trust that we're going to somehow pull it out. Something magical will happen to lead to victory, and it just doesn't quite feel that way this year. I can get into that a little bit more when we talk the Chiefs game, but all in all, like I said, I don't think they performed super well on both sides of the ball at all this year, but they're still 8-3 and control their own destiny to have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And I won't bet against Andy Reid or Patrick Mahomes ever. So
it's not a bad idea. All right, let's bring in the next goon. All right, we got Mr. Scott here. Scott, what's going on?
Feel like Hollywood Squares. It's love and life.
That's right. Very nice hat you have there, sir. I appreciate you rocking the brand for us. Scott, who's your favorite NFL team? Remind me.
I'm a Colts diehard. I watched when they came to watch moving vans leave Baltimore and come to Indianapolis via Mayflower in the snowy blizzard night. I'm a long time. Feel sorry for those Chiefs. It's all the Swifties that have jumped on the bandwagon. It's kind of knocked off their mojo.
No comment.
Don't make fun of the Swifties, damn it.
Be careful. We got a big Swiftie on the show here.
Gotta watch it over there. Also, is this Carter's dad? Like these guys, like the same teams, they have the same picks. What's going on here? Carter, is this your dad?
Did we just become best friends?
I was just saying, what's going on here? What is going on in this world? This is crazy.
Oh man, hilarious. What's going on, Carter?
Not much, man. Excited to talk some NFL with you guys. I've been on the college football streets with you a couple times, but I love all football. Even
right.
Delta. Shout out.
That's
OV.
right. Big shout out to OV, sectional champs, Delta Eagles. We love it. Yeah. All right, guys. So as you can see, we've got a group effort here going on. We were also going to try to bring back a Mr. John Taxis. He wasn't able to join us tonight, but we wanted to give a special shout out to him because he has joined a couple times, and we'll try to get him on here at least one more before the season ends. So quick recap on last week. Mr. Jacob Workman went 13-3. Well done, sir. Well done. I went 9-7. Both of us hit our locks. Jake's lock was Jacksonville. My lock was Dallas. Dallas put a thumping on the Commanders, which we just briefly talked about. total records for the year, Workman is finally above 500. He has been fighting for this for a while.
Ah.
He now sits at 91, 87, and 2. I sit at 89, 89, and 2. For us calling these games on Tuesday, we talked about this a bit last week, but it's not easy calling these games on Tuesday nights with all the stuff that comes out between Tuesday and Sunday. So all in all, things have gone really well for us this year, and we're looking forward to finishing up the season strong. We're going to jump into a couple quick questions here, and I'll throw this to the group. So instead of doing a recap, we're just going to do a couple quick questions, and then we'll jump right into picks. First question to the group here. If the season ended today, who are your offensive and defensive MVPs? And we're not picking NFC or AFC. I want you to pick one offensive player, one defensive player, and I will throw it to Scott first.
Well, this is one of those seasons where I'm not sure that the standouts have been where they have been. I'm loving the rookie CJ Stroud from the Houstons. You talk about somebody who has overperformed expectations. When he got drafted, they were trying to decide, him or quarterback out of Alabama, and he's head and shoulders above that, and I think he's right up top there for offensive MVP.
Very good. And what about defensive side of the ball?
You're going to love this, but I'm going to go with Dallas's cornerback. Was it Bland?
Deron Bland.
Fresno.
6 touchdown returns for TDs. I'm no Dallas fan, but that stands out to me this year. Almost historic kind of number. So he gets my vote right there.
Very good. I love it. Cowboys guy getting called out already. What about you, Carter? Who's your offensive MVP?
Scott's right. This year is a little bit different. Normally you have a couple quarterbacks kind of vying for the offensive. I don't think Stroud's up there for sure, but I'm not going to pick a rookie from the AFC South. So I got Tyreek Hill. He's on pace to break every single record there is. And like I said, I'm sticking chalky. And then on the best defense in the league, arguably, Myles Garrett. I'm going to go with him. And the only way they get in the playoffs is if that defense carries them. So he's dealing
with the shoulder injury right now too. That's not good for Cleveland, especially since they're already dealing with Watson being out.
Banged up.
Yeah. Ike, what about you, man? Who's your offensive MVP so far?
My MVP is Jalen Hurts. If we're talking offensive MVP as in offensive player of the year, which they typically don't give the quarterbacks, I have Tyreek for that. I think he means it's between him and CMC to me. McCaffrey's had a heck of a year, but there's just so much talent on San Francisco. I don't think he's as valuable or as necessary as Tyreek is. I think Miami is what they are because of Tyreek. And I don't hate Tyreek. I don't love Tyreek. I used to love Tyreek. I casually root for him. His fun. He likes to have fun on the field. I think that's shown through in his play, and I think the team's play. I love that he has Tua's back 100%. He's willing to say that he's the best quarterback in the league, which I don't know I can say with a straight face, but it's good that he goes to battle for his guys. Defensively, I also have Myles Garrett. Statistically, me and Carter, baby, share a brain. Statistically, TJ Watt might be a little bit better. And Pittsburgh has a phenomenal defense also, but I think Garrett's literally carrying Cleveland right now.
Very good. Very good. Workman, who's your offensive guy?
I'm very similar to Ike. Tyreek is offensive player, but MVP, I give it to Jalen Hurts. And defense, I'm with Scott. I got my Fresno guy, Deron Bland. Hard to doubt what he's doing out there.
Very good. Very good. Yeah, I've got Christian McCaffrey. Tyreek Hill is right up there. I think the thing that separates me from Tyreek and Run CMC is he's got 16 total touchdowns, understanding that he's playing running back, so he has more opportunities to be able to touch the ball more often. But I think that McCaffrey is potentially a little bit more valuable to that offense. Miami's just got so many speed weapons that they use, and their system is perfect for that use. I think if McCaffrey were to be out for the year, I think they would have a little bit more problem filling his shoes versus Tyreek Hill, but it's close. Defensive MVP, no big surprise here. I'm going with my boy Deron Bland's setting the history record there with that pick six last week. He moved from playing more of a inside nickel corner to an outside corner with Diggs being out. He's really stepped up. He's 5th in completion percentage allowed, 5th in passes defended, 1st in INTs, 1st in passer rating against as a primary defender. So he's been playing lights out for the Cowboys this year. So that's who I've got. All right, let's move into question number 2 here. So 12 weeks through the season now. Let's talk about picks for the Super Bowl. Ike, I'll throw it to you first. Who's your pick for the Super Bowl?
Well, I'm not as confident as I have been in the years past, but I do have the Chiefs out of the AFC, partially because we've already beaten most of the contenders there. And Baltimore without Mark Andrews, I think he's a huge part of their offense, almost as much as Travis Kelce is to the Chiefs. So I do have the Chiefs coming out of the AFC. Home field advantage will be important, but I have a pretty relatively easy schedule from here on out. I think we will probably lock up that home field advantage. And I don't see anyone. I mean, anybody can beat anybody any given Sunday, obviously, but I would not pick anybody to beat the Chiefs at this point from the AFC. And I have San Francisco from the NFC, and I think that's a little bit tougher. Philly, like I was just talking about earlier, I don't feel like the Chiefs necessarily have that magic this year, and it feels like Philly does. Like it feels like they're never out of it, and they've found a way to beat a lot of good teams over and over when the odds are stacked against them. But I just ultimately feel like San Fran, when they're playing their best, they're better than any team in the league is when they're playing their best. So I don't really want to pick a team to falter. I want to pick a team that's going to win it to get there. And I think San Fran's the best team, probably in football.
So who's winning that Super Bowl matchup?
Well, if I pick the Chiefs to get to the Super Bowl, there's no way I'm picking against them. Give me the Chiefs, baby.
Okay. All right. I thought so. I was just testing it. Let's throw it to Carter.
I'm pretty similar to Ike. And I was kind of going back and forth in the AFC. I got the 49ers in the NFC. It's down to the Eagles and the Lions, I think, even though they slipped up here recently. We got a big game this week. We're going to see the rematch of the NFC Championship this week. And 49ers will actually have a quarterback, so that'll be nice to see. And then the AFC, one team I think that could give Kansas City problems, I'm going to go with Baltimore in a rematch of Super Bowl 47. Ravens versus Niners. I know Andrews is out, but they got Likely going last week. They got a bunch of other weapons. That rookie running back starting to get going, Keaton Mitchell, and I got Ravens Niners.
Who you got winning?
Niners.
Niners? Okay.
They finally get it, yep.
We got a Chiefs and a Niners so far. Scott, what do you got?
Jets, Giants all the way. I think Miami's going to be the best team coming out of that speed. The old saying, speed kills. They look like they're starting to round into peak form. They got everybody pretty much healthy right now. So and their defense is surprisingly under the radar. But I really like what they're doing. And coming out of the NFC, I think it's going to be the 49ers.
And who do you have winning?
49ers. I just think they're the most complete team, even without Bosa. I just think the draft or the trades they made in the season to get that extra lineman really has helped them surprisingly with Bosa going down. I think they're the most complete team.
All right, Big Jake.
My preseason is my same as Ike's. Eagles, Chiefs. I have no reason to change.
I did not have the Eagles though. I had Sam.
You had Niners?
I did have the Niners.
Oh, everyone's been saying Niners. I thought you said Eagles. Okay. Oh, I'm sticking with Eagles, Chiefs. And one thing I just want to throw in is Sirianni after every game is one of my favorite things to watch in the NFL. I know there's a lot of hate for that guy. He's a love or hate guy, but I absolutely love him. His post game, right when he gets into the tunnel of the stadium and he just starts yelling stuff, it's one of my favorite moments of the week. He's awesome. I love Sirianni.
It's my least favorite person in the sports.
I figured it would be. He's awesome.
I hate that man. I'm sticking with a couple of you guys. I've got Niners Chiefs. On the NFC side, I think that the Eagles, Cowboys, and Lions all have a potential shot of being able to make it, depending on how the cards fall and how the playoffs line up. But looking at complete teams, I think the Niners are the team to beat. AFC side, I consider putting Baltimore here. I do like Miami as another team that could make a run. Their defense is definitely getting better, but Tua needs to minimize his mistakes a little bit. So I still have the Chiefs here. So Chiefs Niners, I've got the Niners winning that game. I think it's hard to go against Kansas City because of what they've done the past couple of years, but I think San Francisco's just got a complete team this year, and I can definitely see them end up winning the Super Bowl.
I didn't say my winner, but same thing. Same as preseason. Chiefs Eagles, Chiefs win.
Yeah, I that's my fault because I assumed that was what was happening.
Yeah,
Since you
I
said
know.
nothing was changing. Yeah,
You're good. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's jump into it, guys. Let's jump into some Week 13 picks here. Our Thursday night matchup features the 6-5 Seattle Seahawks, who are coming off a 13-31 loss to the 49ers, versus the 8-3 Dallas Cowboys, who played last Thursday and beat the Commanders 45-10. The Seahawks have now lost 3 of their last 4 and are slipping away from contention in the NFC West, just a game ahead of the Rams for second, while the Cowboys have won 3 straight and remain 2 games behind Philly for top spot in the NFC East. Dallas is favored by 9. Carter, who you got?
So originally when I saw this spread, I was like, man, that's a lot of points. A Thursday game. They've been pretty wild. But then I got to thinking Dallas played last Thursday, so they got a full week, normal practice, and Seattle just hasn't been the Seattle that we saw from last year. So I got Dallas. I know it's a lot of points. They're at home. They've been lighting it up lately. I'm surprised you didn't say them as a contender because they're really turning that offense around and the defense can play. Parsons a little banged up, so hopefully he'll be all right. But Dallas -9.
Well, it's because he gets triple teamed and held every play, but
Right.
Yeah, I won't waste any time on that. Ike, who's your pick here? Dallas, Seattle.
I'm on Dallas. Seattle's one of those teams, kind of like we were talking about in the college football podcast with Boise State, who I won't ever pick against Seattle when they're at home, but they're just not the same team on the road. And short week, I always tend to go home team, and Carter made an excellent point that they just played last Thursday, so that's 2 extra days practice. Give me Dallas, and comfortably.
Scott?
Seattle, they're on the slow glide to the plane crash. It's just I see the bomb dropping out of their whole season right now. 3 out of 4, make it 4 out of 5. Dallas is going to roll, and Dallas's offense right now is just smoking hot. The defense is playing well. I don't think it's going to even be a close game by halftime.
Jake, don't screw it up. Don't you do it. Don't you do it.
I am. I'm on Seattle. I think it's too many points. These Thursday night games, the primetime games this year, have always found a way to just be shit. So I'm going to go with shit. So I'm taking Seattle. Give me 9. I think they can keep it close. I don't know. It's simple as that. The primetime games have sucked. So I'm keeping it close.
Fair enough. To nobody's surprise, I'm going with the boys here. We've been playing lights out at home. Seattle's been struggling as of late, so I'm definitely rolling with Dallas here, minus the points. All right, the first of our Sunday night matchups, or Sunday day matchups, I should say, has the 4-7 Los Angeles Chargers, who are traveling to New England after losing 20-10 at home to the Ravens to meet the 2-9 New England Patriots, who return home after losing 7-10 to the Giants. Both these teams are struggling, with the Chargers on a 3-game losing streak, and they have now slid to last in the AFC West, while the Patriots have now lost 4 in a row and sit 2 games behind the Jets for last place in the AFC East. The Chargers are favored by 6. Carter, we'll go with you first.
Yeah, I got the Chargers winning this one and covering. My only trepidation is at New England. I mean, they generally play pretty well at home, but New England has just been trash. I don't know what they're doing at quarterback. The Mac Jones experience is over. Zappy's no better. I mean, they just need to give it to Stevenson every play and run it every time. I think the Chargers are the more talented team, top to bottom.
Scott?
The Los Angeles has really this year kind of confounded me. I think they have far too much talent for where they're at. Their coach, if his seat isn't feeling the burning sensation, he's not paying attention. I just really disappointed by their whole their whole season. And of course, New England, it's just a slow moving train wreck going on. If I didn't have to watch this game, I wouldn't. But I think the Los Angeles is gonna take it.
Mike?
Yeah, I'm on New England on this one, but I'm not very confident in it. Obviously, no one can be confident picking New England right now. But the Chargers, every year, it just seems like people think they're supposed to be this next up-and-coming superstar team, and they just don't perform. New England, their last 6 games, they've had 4 losses that were within 4 points. So they're right there. They're just a ball bouncing here or there away from people not talking about Belichick losing it and New England moving on. And who are they going to take this year with their number 3 overall pick and all this stuff? I mean, they've been in a lot of games. They beat Buffalo. Also in their last 6 games. And then the other one was they lost comfortably to Miami at Miami, but a lot of teams have lost to Miami this year. I don't think New England's too far away. I think they're just due to win one of these close ones.
Jake?
Yeah, I just think the incompetence of the Chargers defense is what Bill takes advantage of here. I think they'll work up a plan to really abuse how terrible that defense is. The defense has players that are good, but their scheme is terrible, and that falls on Staley. I think New England wins this outright, and Staley gets fired.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm taking the Chargers here, but this is absolutely a must-win game for Brandon Staley. I don't understand why he hasn't been shown the door already, especially when they've already brought in Kellen Moore. He seems like he's an opportune person to come in and be an interim coach for the rest of the year. New England is playing some seriously horrendous football right now, and they don't really have anywhere to turn a quarterback. So it should be an easy win for LA. I'm going to take LA here, minus the 6. Next up, we have the 2-10 Arizona Cardinals, who are coming off a 14-37 home loss to the Rams, and they hit the road to the Steel City to meet the 7-4 Pittsburgh Steelers, who secured a 16-10 win against the Bengals in Cincinnati last week. The Cardinals have lost the last 2 and sit well in last place in the NFC West, while the Steelers are sitting in second in a tiebreaker with the Browns and look to gain ground on the division-leading Ravens. Pittsburgh is favored by 5.5. Scott, let's start with you.
Well, when it comes to Arizona, anytime you have to put in your quarterback's contract that he has to have 4 hours of study time, I never will pick Arizona. And Pittsburgh seems to be getting all the bounces. That their record is better than what I think their talent level is. But definitely we're going Pittsburgh and a romp on this one.
Mike?
We have Muncie legend Eddie Faulkner as offensive coordinator. How can you go against Pittsburgh? I think the offense did perform a lot better last week. They didn't necessarily have the points, but they had over 400 yards total offense. First time this year, I believe they've had that. They just looked like a different team. Confidence level, chemistry. Arizona is not it. So give me Pittsburgh. I'll give it the points.
Carter?
Yeah, I think that's the first time they went over 400 yards. I don't think Canada ever did it when he was offensive coordinator.
Nope.
So
First time.
Yeah, they definitely look like a different squad offensively. Defensively, we know what we're going to get out of them. And Arizona's injury report today had basically all their pass catchers, McBride, Marquise Brown, and I think Rondell Moore was on it. So give me Pittsburgh outright, or minus 5.5.
Jake?
Yeah, I like Pittsburgh to cover 2. I watched the Rams Cardinals last week. The Cardinals are atrocious. I think they'll force Kyler into some turnovers. I think Pittsburgh wins this pretty easily and covers.
Yep, I'm with you. I'm taking Pittsburgh here. All right. The streaking 6-5 Denver Broncos head south to Texas after beating the Browns 29-12 at home last week to face off against a 6-5 Houston Texans team who lost a 3-point heartbreaker to the Jags at home last week. Denver is tied with Philly for the most wins in a row with 5 and has bullied their way into second place in the AFC West, 2 games behind Kansas City, while the Texans look to bounce back and keep pace with the Colts, who are now sitting in second in the AFC South. Houston is favored by 3.5. Carter, we'll go to you first.
I'm kind of surprised that Houston's favored 3.5. I'm taking Denver getting points on the road. I know Houston's had a great season. Denver's defense is pretty good, especially against the pass. I think hopefully they can kind of harass Stroud and put up enough points to get the win here on the road.
Scott?
Denver with all the early injuries to their wide receiver core. I'm really shocked that they're actually in this position. I think the really good coaching has overcome some of the Russell Wilson's late career slide. So I'm really surprised where they're at. Houston's sort of the team on the rise. Go Houston with the 3.5 points.
Ike?
I think it's time I start giving both these teams a little more respect. I've been late to get on the bandwagon on both of them. I think they're both performing really well. I'm going with Houston. Stroud's just been amazing. They eyeball test wise look better. I think some of that's offense looks better than defense. So Denver just doesn't look as impressive. But part of it's just watching Denver the past 5-6 years. They've just been terrible for so long. It's hard to let that go, kind of. So I'll take Houston. I'll take the points. Or I'll give the points, excuse me.
Jake?
Yeah, I like the resurgence of Denver a little bit here. I'm gonna take Denver plus the 3.5, even though we've talked about it. We're kind of big on both of these teams the last few weeks, and especially Houston throughout the season. But I do like Denver in this one. I like what they've been doing the last few weeks.
Yeah, this was a tough one for me. Houston's been playing better at home than on the road, but Denver's defense has improved drastically, as we were just talking about. Texans are going to need to get that ground game going to open up things for Stroud a little bit more. I think Denver's streak ends here as far as wins go, but I think it's a 3-point swing, so I'm going to take Denver here to cover. Next up, we have the 8-3 Detroit Lions, who hit the road after losing 22-29 at home to the Packers on Thanksgiving to face off against the 5-6 Saints, who return home after losing 15-24 to the Falcons in Atlanta. Detroit still sits in first in the NFC North and has a 2.5-game lead ahead of the Vikings, while the Saints have lost their last two and now sit in second behind the Falcons in the NFC South. Detroit is favored by 4.5. I'm going to kick it off with Workman because I think I already know where this one's going.
Well, I have a rule. I'm not picking the Saints until Jameis plays. They just happen to be playing my team this week, so it makes it easy. I'm taking the Lions minus 4.5. Jameis isn't the quarterback, so Lions. The Saints' whole team is hurt. They have no offense. I don't know who's starting for their receivers. They literally have none right now, so it's going to be interesting there. Ike sent me a video. I don't know if you guys saw it. Jameis was in David Carr's face rapping to Ludacris during the last game, which was absolutely hilarious. Carr they're just hating life because he sucks, and Jameis is rapping in his face. It's absolutely awesome. This shows why Jameis is the man. But
that's great.
No Jameis, no Saints. Give me the Lions minus 4.5.
Carter?
I'm with Jacob. That was hilarious seeing Jameson just rapping in his face, and Derek Carr was just hating everything. Yeah. I think this is a great get right spot for the Lions coming off that Thanksgiving loss. The Fighting Dan Campbells get the win and cover.
Ike?
Yeah, New Orleans is a notorious tough place to play. And Detroit's had 2 or 3 slow games in a row where they haven't been able to get the lead and play their style of ball. But I think they're going to come out and statement game, just like Carter said. Back to the Thanksgiving point, they have a couple extra days of practice, almost like a mini bye week to get right. I do like New Orleans the rest of the season, though. They have every team from here on out after Detroit has a losing record. I think they can sneak into the playoffs, but I don't think they're going to be competitive in this one.
Scott?
I love watching the Fighting Dan Campbells. Just every level, running backs, tight ends, receivers. They seem to got it going on. Defense is when they have sort of had their ups and downs. And New Orleans, another one of these, 3/4 way through the season, halfway through the season, they're on that slow slide. I know they got a real good schedule from here on out, but they will never fail to disappoint. I'm taking Detroit.
All right. Yep. I'm with you guys. I'm going eat them up here. Carr's not been playing well. They're dealing with injuries. Lions are trying to bounce back from that game against the Packers. I think they're about to take out some frustration on the Saints there in New Orleans. So I'll take Detroit there minus the points. All right. The 6-5 Indianapolis Colts head to Music City after getting a 27-20 win over the Buccaneers last week to face off against a 4-7 Tennessee Titans team who are coming off a 17-10 victory over the Carolina Panthers. Indy has quietly won 3 straight and has climbed into second in the AFC South, but has lost Jonathan Taylor for a couple of weeks to a thumb injury, while the Titans continue sitting in last that have gotten all 4 of their wins this year so far at home. Indy is favored by 1.5. Let's throw it to a Colts fan here. We'll start with Scott.
Zach Moss has done a really good job of filling in for Taylor. He doesn't have the burst. I don't think he catches the ball as well out of the backfield. A lot of Indianapolis' offense this year has been smoke and mirrors. I'm not really sure how they did it. I was hoping for a 1-16 season and be able to take Harrison to start this and build for the rest of the year. But they're doing it. And Derrick Henry, I think he's done. They've ran him 400 attempts for 10 years now. His legs are done. Running backs, when they lose it, tend to be pretty quick. So I think he's done. Tannehill's already on the bench. Tennessee's starting to rebuild. So let's go Indianapolis.
All right, Carter.
I'm with my boy Scott here. I think this game does come down to, I think Indy needs to start fast and not get Henry involved in the game, because we have been susceptible to the run, especially since Grover Stewart's been out. Losing JT hurts, but Moss carried us early in the year. Shane Steichen is a freaking stud. I love him. His play calling has been amazing for the limited weapons that Indianapolis has. They were at one point the only team that scored 20 points in every game, I think through like 10 weeks, something like that. So definitely riding with the Colts here.
Ike?
Yeah, I originally went with Tennessee. I think I've been swayed a little bit by our Colts brethren here. That's right.
Your college football brethren. You guys picked every game this year.
I do think Taylor is a bigger blow than we realize. Moss did fill in admirably, and fantasy-wise was one of the best running backs the first 5-6 weeks of the season. But I don't think you can replace Jonathan Taylor. And the Colts are susceptible to the run. Henry isn't what he used to be, but division games is where he gets the King Henry name. It is at Tennessee, but ultimately Indy's just a more talented team. If Minshew cannot turn the ball over, they win by a field goal. I'll go with Indy.
Jake?
Yeah, I'm really back and forth on this one. Kind of like Ike. I'm going to actually stick with Tennessee. I like them on their home field in this one. Probably a field goal at the buzzer to win. But I do think the Taylor injury is huge. I do love what Steichen does, though. I mean, obviously, I think he's the far better coach in this game. I know a lot of people like Vrabel, but I love Steichen's mind. One of the better offensive guys in the NFL now. But I do just like Tennessee at home in this one.
All right, yeah, despite the Taylor injury, I'm still going to go with Indy here. Moss, we talked about it, serviceable when Taylor was out. Minshew's got Pittman and Downs to attack this Titan defense, so I'm going to take the Colts here to cover. Next, we have the 5-6 Atlanta Falcons, who head to New York after beating the Saints 24-15 on Sunday to face a 4-7 New York Jets team who are coming off a 13-34 loss to division foe Miami Dolphins. The Falcons are now in first place in the NFC South, despite having a losing record, but are only 1-4 on the road this year, while the Jets are on a 4-game losing streak and sit third in the AFC East ahead of the Patriots. Atlanta is favored by 3. Carter.
Yeah, I've got Atlanta in this one. Kind of looking at the stats, it was kind of surprising to see that the Jets are not that good against the run. That's all Art Smith wants to do. Now, he struggles on picking the right running back to give the damn ball to. I mean, he's got one of the most talented running backs in the league. And last week he figured it out. Bijan had 2 touchdowns. If he can give him the ball. I did see, we didn't talk about it, Aaron Rodgers came back from IR today, 21-day window or whatever. So he's not going to be on the field Sunday. So I got the Falcons winning this one.
Ike?
Yeah, 2 words, Tim Boyle. I won't pick the Jets as long as Tim Boyle's the starting quarterback against any NFL teams. Give me Atlanta. I'll give the points.
Scott?
I can't interrupt this party. It's Atlanta. Jets are crashing, burning until they figure out the quarterback room. It's just all one way, and it's down.
Jake?
Yeah, this is another one that I can kind of go either way in this one. Another one I'm struggling with. I'm actually going to play the push theory. I'm taking the Jets +3. I'm hoping for the push.
Funnily enough, this happened a couple times on the college show, but I'm with Workman here.
Yeah.
This was a tough one. The Jets are struggling, but Atlanta isn't the same team on the road as they are at home. I'm going to take a gamble here and say that the Jets win. If it is a push, it's a push, but I'm going with the Jets. All right, the 8-3 Miami Dolphins continue their road trip after beating the Jets 34-13 last week as they head to the nation's capital to face off against the 4-8 Washington Commanders, who return home after getting beat 10-45 to the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Miami now holds a 2.5 game lead for first in the AFC East ahead of the Bills, while the Commanders have lost their last 4 and are now sitting in last place in the NFC East. Miami is favored by 9.5. Ike, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I just think 9.5 is too much for Washington being at home. 9.5, that's the numbers you see when Tim Boyle's the quarterback, not Sam Howell, who hasn't been phenomenal, but he's been serviceable. Washington, I think, has no chance of winning this game, but I see it a touchdown type game, not 9.5. So give me Washington in the points.
Scott?
Ron Rivera's swan song right here. After they get pounded at home, Ron Rivera's done. They've already traded away, part of their team. They're building towards next year. An offensive coordinator who didn't get a chance in Kansas City. He's going to take over next year. But, I don't believe that this will be even close. Miami by 14.
Carter?
I'm with the boys. I got Miami by at least 2 touchdowns. I think they're just too much of a juggernaut for Washington to handle. I need to look at the over on this because I do think Washington might be able to put up some points, but that Miami's might score every possession. So
Jake?
Give me the Dolphins.
Yeah, I just think Sam Howell turns the ball over too much. I don't think he'll be able to keep it within 10. A late turnover will probably seal the cover. Give me Jalen Ramsey to get another pick and the Dolphins to cover.
Yep, I'm with you. Taking Miami here. Offensively, they should cause the same issues that Dallas did. So I'll take Miami here minus the points. All right, the league worst 1-10 Carolina Panthers continue their road trip after losing 10-17 to the Titans as they head to Tampa Bay to face a 4-7 Buccaneers team that returns home after a 20-27 loss to the Colts. Carolina fired Frank Reich after the loss last week and is now being led by interim head coach and previous special teams coordinator Chris Tabor, who on his first official day on the job turned around and fired both QB coach Josh McCown and running backs coach Deuce Staley, leaving passing game coordinator Parks Frazier to handle the quarterback duties and OC Thomas Brown to handle the running backs. Carolina sits in last place in the NFC South and the planet as a whole, while the Bucs have lost 6 of their last 7 and have slipped from first to third in the division. Tampa Bay is favored by 5.5. Scott, we'll throw it to you first.
I don't know what Parks Frazier did in a previous life, but he turned down the Colts offensive coordinator position in their train wreck last year. Yeah, he's left standing this year in Carolina. I hope he didn't buy a house again. Carolina's just an awful train wreck. I've enjoyed watching them get the teeth kicked in pretty much every week. We'll go to Tampa Bay.
Carter?
Yep, Tampa Bay is going to roll. I mean, Carolina is what a complete mess. That interview that Tepper gave the other day, he is clueless. He needs to just I don't know, sell the team maybe. Oh wait, he already did. He gave away his 2 best players for Bryce Young. Give me Tampa. Mike Evans quietly having his best year maybe. I think they're going to roll.
Ike?
Yeah, Mike Evans made himself some money this year for sure. I don't know. Sometimes when coaches get fired, it lights a fire under a team, and they come out and they kick some butt for a week or two before they go back to reality. But I don't think coaching's the problem in Carolina. It's a talent problem. So give me Tampa. I'll give the points again.
Jake?
I'm on Tampa at home. They're just the better team, better weapons, and I think Carolina sucks. So give me Tampa. Yep,
same with you. I'm going to take Tampa here at home. Matchup of the week features the 8-3 San Francisco 49ers, who continue their road trip after a 31-13 victory over the Seahawks in Seattle as they travel east to face the 10-1 league-leading Philadelphia Eagles, who stay at home after a nail-biting overtime win against the Bills. Both teams have 310 points on the offensive side of the ball, but the difference is on defense, where the Niners have allowed 76 less than the Eagles. The Niners sit 2 games ahead in first in the NFC West, while the Eagles sit 2 games ahead of the Cowboys in first in the NFC East. The Eagles have yet to lose at home, but aren't favored for the first time this year. San Francisco is favored by 2.5. Scott?
This is a tough one, just because Philly's played so well at home. I think, like I said earlier, San Francisco is the most complete team in the league right now. I think unless there's some bad weather or something that pops up like that, or it's a contest of tush pushes, I think San Francisco is going to win this one.
Carter?
Yeah, I got the 49ers winning the rematch of the NFC Championship this time. Purdy's healthy. Most of the offense is healthy. Got Trent Williams back. I think it's going to be a good game, of course, but Philly's they've eked out the last 4 games, and this 49ers team is different than all those teams they've played. So give me the Niners.
Ike?
Yeah, like I said earlier, Philly seems like a team of destiny this year. They just always find a way to win, but I do think San Francisco is a more talented team. Philly's had 2 down to the wire, huge, emotionally draining wins the past 2 weeks, and I don't think they can do that a third time in a row. I think they'll have a little bit of a letdown. Give me the Niners.
Jake?
I just think if you're giving me the best team in the NFL points on their home field, you have to take it. So I'm taking Philly. I think they can still win the game outright. I still think they're the more talented team. And I kind of like what Ike said. The things are just falling their way. And it's you can't really go against all of the things I just said. Home field, best team in the NFL, getting points. That's tough. I've got to take Philly.
Arguably best team in the NFL.
Not the best team in the NFL.
I don't agree with that, but okay. I'm taking the Niners. They're on extended rest. I think they create more matchup problems on the defensive side of the ball for Philly. So it may be a 3-point game, but I'm going to take San Fran here to get the W. All right. Before we jump into the next game here, Scott's got a quick cut time. So Scott, you want to give us the picks for these last games here, starting with Cleveland and the Rams?
Kyron Williams coming back for the Rams. It gives them a lift. I just think Cleveland defensively is more talented, and they got their own offensive problems. So I'm saying a 10-7 Cleveland win.
So that is a Rams cover then. So you have
that
the Rams
would be
cover.
a Rams cover.
Rams cover, right?
Okay.
All right. And what about the Kansas City Chiefs at the Green Bay Packers? Kansas City is favored by 6.
Kansas City rolling on through.
All right. In our Monday night matchup, Cincinnati at Jacksonville. Jacksonville is favored by 8.5.
Jacksonville's getting hot, and Cincinnati doesn't have a quarterback, so let's go Jacksonville.
All right. And who is your lock for this week?
Actually, Jacksonville over Cincinnati. I don't think it's going to be close.
Very good. All right, man. Well, hey, we very much appreciate you jumping in here. We'll let you go, and we'll hopefully bring you on when we don't run over on the previous show next time.
I enjoyed it. I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah,
All
thanks
right.
for joining us. See ya.
Thanks
Tell your son Carter bye.
Be a best friend.
Good grief. All right. Let's jump back over here as we just zoomed through that. All right, the 7-4 Cleveland Browns continue their road trip after losing 12-29 in Denver last week to the Broncos as they face off against the 5-6 Rams, who return home after getting a big 37-14 win against the Cardinals. Cleveland continues to look to navigate its season after losing Deshaun Watson for the year and now have an injured Myles Garrett as they sit in third in the AFC North, while the Rams have won their last 2 and sit third in the NFC West, just 1 game behind the Seahawks for second. The Rams are favored by 3.5. Carter.
I'm going Wacko for Flacco. Looks like he might get the start here for Cleveland. I think their defense will carry him. Rams, I don't know what's going on with Cooper Kupp. He hasn't looked the same since that first couple of weeks to come back from the injury.
That injury,
got some weapons there.
Yeah, it's a lingering injury awesome. That he can't get over it. Like the first play of the game last week, he caught a ball and he was limping already. It's going to be lingering all year.
He had the same injury or same surgery as Pollard too, and Pollard's kind of been.
Yeah.
I mean, not as good as we thought he was, at least.
No, for sure.
But yeah. Wacko for Flacco, even if he doesn't start. Let's go Browns.
Fucking Wacko for Flacco twice. All right. Ike, if you say wacko for Flacco, I'm going to mute you.
I am not wacko for Flacco.
His dad would have. Where's his dad at? Get him
Yeah,
back.
he would have.
All of Cleveland's options for quarterback at this point are horrendous. The defense is obviously phenomenal, but that's not enough on the road against the Rams team who looked like what Workman thought they were going to be at the beginning of the year, a potential playoff team. Kyron Williams is a difference maker. It almost brings a tear to my eye, and I'm sure Workman's eye when he thinks about what could have been if Cam Akers never got hurt, what he would be doing behind that line before he got let go. But give me the Rams comfortably.
Jake?
So little Lions nostalgia here. Jim Schwartz and Matt Stafford. How can you not love it? This is back in the old days of Ford Field for me. I can't believe the Rams are actually a 3.5. I know the quarterback situation, but this one I'm really skeptical on this one. And you said Cleveland on the road. This is not a road game. That place will be all Browns fans. There's no such thing as a home game in SoFi Stadium. God. This is about as tough as one we had. Jesus. Give me the Rams. I'll take the Rams.
Woo, there we go. Yeah, I am with you. I am precariously taking the Rams. I think it's likely going to be a close game, but with the possibility of Garrett being out or at least not 100%, I think that gives Stafford a little bit more time to be in the pocket and make some plays happen. So I'm going to take the Rams here.
Lone Wolf.
All right. Sunday night matchup features the 8-3 Kansas City Chiefs, who continue their road trip after beating the Raiders 31-17 in Vegas as they head to the frozen tundra of Green Bay to meet the 5-6 Packers, who return home after getting a big win against Workman's Detroit Lions on Thanksgiving last week, 29-22. KC maintains a 2-game lead in the AFC West for first, while the Packers are a half game behind the Vikings for second in the NFC North. KC is favored by 6. Ike, I'll let you lead here, man. It's your team.
Like I said earlier, this past week was the first complete game I felt like the Chiefs have played all year, and it was kind of nice to see. They got off to a slow start, but the offense came alive. The defense was solid. Statistically, they weren't what they have been, but they shut down the Raiders like expected. Green Bay's not going to sneak up on anybody after their Thanksgiving performance where they looked out of this world. I don't expect that to continue. I don't think this one's going to be particularly close. I don't know what the weather's like, but the Chiefs are used to cold weather. That's not going to be a factor. Crowd noise, that doesn't bother them either. I don't feel like this being a home game for Green Bay is that big of a difference. So give me the Chiefs by 2 touchdowns.
Carter?
Yeah, I kind of went back and forth a little bit on this one. I'm going to take the Chiefs, but Green Bay has definitely started playing better. Love looked really good last week. But this KC defense is awesome. They're carrying the team. It's just super scary because if they can never figure out a wide receiver, if Rashee Rice keeps stepping up or Sky Moore, or one of those guys got to step up. And I love watching Pacheco run the ball. I don't think anyone runs harder than that guy. So I'm going to go ahead and take the Chiefs, giving up 6.
Jake?
Yeah, I think the Chiefs fans will actually take over Lambeau just like the Lions fans did. The Packers fans really haven't been backing them this year like they have been. I know they had the week last week, but I don't think that's going to cover much. I think the tickets were already sold. I don't think that's going to matter. I like the Chiefs fans to take over. I like the Chiefs to get the pressure. I think they'll put a hurting on Love, to be honest. And that was unfortunately one thing we couldn't do because Aiden was triple teamed and that was all we had. We didn't rush anyone. I think the Chiefs defense is much different. I think that they will win this one pretty easily, probably like a 13 or 14, a 2-score win for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm taking KC. Slightly concerned just because it's a cold night game in Lambeau. But again, to your point, KC's used to playing in that, so I don't think it's going to make much of a difference. Jordan Love has been playing better the past couple of weeks, but he's also not been playing this Chiefs defense. So I think KC's going to win this one pretty easily. All right, our Monday night matchup looked a hell of a lot better 3 weeks ago than it does now. 5-6 Cincinnati Bengals travel to Jacksonville after losing 10-16 to the Pittsburgh Steelers last week to face the 8-3 Jaguars, who return home after getting a division win against the Texans last week, 24-21. Cincy's season seems all but over as they are on a 3-game losing streak and have lost Burrow for the year while sitting last in the AFC North, while Jacksonville holds on to a 2-game lead in a competitive AFC South division. Jacksonville is favored by 8.5. Let's go, Carter.
Yeah, I wish Burrow was playing this game. This would be the best Monday night game of the year, probably. But Jacksonville's going to be way too much for Trevor Lawrence, and the boys are finally getting it going. The receivers are healthy. Calvin Ridley's starting to get going now that Zay Jones is back. I think they're just going to be too much. Give me Jacksonville.
Ike?
Yeah, according to my Google search bar at the bottom of my computer here, it is International Jaguar Day today. So if that's not reason enough to pick Jacksonville, I don't know what it is. If you need another reason, I'll say Jake Browning just isn't going to be able to get it done. So give me Jacksonville. I'll give the points.
All right, Jake, if
Could
you
be
can
a
follow
bad-
that up.
Could be a bad weekend for Washington quarterbacks. If Washington loses, then Browning's on Monday Night Football getting embarrassed. Jacksonville was my lock last week. I'm actually going to keep rolling with Jacksonville. I like them to get the cover in this one, though it is one of those primetime games. I was close to taking Cincinnati in this one just because I feel like they've all sucked. So, that was my only reasoning where they might keep it close. But yeah, with Browning, I do like Jacksonville to keep it rolling here at home.
Yeah, I'm taking Jacksonville as well. They got a pretty emotional win last week against the Texans. Cincy just isn't anywhere the same without Burrow, and their defense isn't helping here recently either. They've not been playing very well, so I think Jacksonville should win this one pretty handily. All right, bye week teams. We actually have 6 this week. Baltimore, Buffalo, Chicago, Vegas, Minnesota, and the Giants are all on bye week. So now we are going to move into our locks. I am 11-1 in locks this year. Workman is 9-3, so we are both doing very well with our locks. We are going to start off with Ike. Ike, who is your lock for this week?
There are a couple I'm pretty confident in, and our wonderful hosts here would probably like a couple of them. I think Dallas is pretty close to a lock. I think Detroit's pretty close to a lock, but it just comes down to I just don't think Tim Boyle can win an NFL game. I don't think he's it. So give me Atlanta. -3 is lock of the week.
Wow. I took the Jets.
That's a big one. So did I.
Well, I'm not taking Atlanta. I'm taking against Tim Boyle.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Carter, who you got, man? Who's your lock this week?
Colts.
I'm with Ike. I have Atlanta down. I have a couple other ones that I like. But I'm actually – my first one was Pittsburgh -5.5 against Arizona.
All right, lock it in on Pittsburgh. This is some interesting locks so far.
I know. I wasn't anticipating
I
either
should
of
have
those.
just copied Reese, actually, because he just can't miss in NFL. So I should have had you go first and just copy yours.
You probably just screwed me, so thanks for that.
I think we
Jake.
all know who he's going to pick, so you probably could have read his mind. He's picked the same team the last 3 weeks, so it's
Hey, they keep paying it off, but you
See?
don't know that yet. We'll see what happens. Jake,
we'll
who's
see.
your pick?
I have a feeling. Like I said, no Jameis, no Saints. Give me the Lions. I like the lock for the Lions. Return, restore the roar, as they say. Let's go back to that. Eat 'em up, Lions. Cover the 4.5 on the road in New Orleans.
All right. Well, this is what you get for assuming shit. I'm not taking Dallas. I am taking Miami over Washington. Commanders have not looked great since they shipped out Young and Sweat. Miami's improved on defense. We already discussed that. This game could get ugly very quick, so I am locked in on Miami over Washington. All right, guys. That is it for us for NFL Week 13. Any final thoughts before we sign off here, gentlemen?
Not really. I would like to say when you guys started this podcast, I kind of listened to it because you guys were my buddies. And I thought you guys were just not getting there yet. But I will say, as it's gotten longer and longer.
I can't do it anymore. Sorry. I was giving you music to talk to. It was nice.
As the weeks have gone by, you guys have actually, you guys are very entertaining. You've gotten very good at this, and I'm proud of you guys. I look forward to listening every week. So thank you for the entertainment you give me every week.
Thanks, man.
Thank
I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully you bet
I'll
our
echo that with
hopefully you bet our locks every week because we're making decent money there.
Yeah, I echo that with Ike. You guys have been one of my mainstay listens. Like I said, at work, I get to listen to a lot of podcasts, and every Wednesday, generally, you guys are on there. So appreciate you having me on a few times this year. Next year going to be pretty good with the college football with the 12-team playoffs. So hopefully we get to do it again, run it back sometime next year. So thanks again.
Of course.
Yeah, we're definitely going to run it back. We appreciate you guys taking the time to come on the show for us. We've had the pleasure and opportunity to bring on some really awesome guests this year between you guys and Ovi was an awesome special guest. Taxis has done great when he joined. So we really, really appreciate. That's right. Delta Eagles represent. We really appreciate everybody joining, and not only joining, but being able to listen to both our college and NFL podcasts. This takes more work than you would think to prep for every week. And yeah, we've done our best to try to be entertaining here while also giving you guys some solid picks. So we appreciate it. Workman, you got anything else here before we sign off?
No, I think that's it. Thanks guys for joining, and Carter, your dad, Scott, thank for him joining us also. It was nice of him to be on here. We'll see how the picks go. It'll be interesting to see. We're gonna take a long time to tally the picks this week.
Yeah, that's no
something
kidding.
I'm not used to, but yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. The end of the college football week, conference championship weeks, and then now we're at week 13 of NFL. So we're actually approaching the playoffs for NFL too.
Yep, should be good. All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for listening. As always, for Jake and our guests here, this is Reese with TNT Tuesday Night Touchdown Podcast, NFL Edition Week 13. Good luck and good gambling, guys. Cheers.
Eat them up, Lions. Eat them up.
Go Colts.